This year's NDP is quite special, where they give out this board where you can write, I want to, and then I wrote is, I want to win Toto. Very unluckily, the camera didn't capture that.
Hi, 안녕하세요.
你好
Buenas.
大家好 Bonjour.
Namaste. สวัสดีค่ะ
你好，我名字叫年坤，今年27歲，我是從江西中國過來的。Hello, my name is Yan Kun. You can call me Chris. I'm 27 years old this year. I'm from Jiangxi, China. My childhood actually have two parts. The first part is where I grew up in my hometown Jiangxi. The second part is in Shenzhen. So Jiangxi was very, very fun because my family from my mom's side, they actually have bee farms. They keep their vegetables. So it was very, very fun growing up because we get to catch fish, we get to chase duck and earn our pocket money by helping them to do some work in the farm. After my first 3 years, I came to Shenzhen. Then that's where I have started my sort of a city life, urban life. So the fun thing is I went back my hometown every year during summer. There's actually a very convenient store or like mama shop near my mom's place. Usually after we earn our pocket money, we get to go to the mama shop to buy snacks or to buy like those 爆竹, what do you call that? Firecracker, yes. We get to buy firecrackers and which you don't really find doing it in Singapore. Yeah. I came to Singapore in around 2013. My first impression of Singapore is all the trees are very tropical trees, which I don't really find in Shenzhen or in my hometown. When I first step out of the airplane, I feel this place is so luxury. It's very different from Bao'an Airport, which is the one in Shenzhen. The color tone is white color. Changi Airport is gold, yellow, very, very luxury and international. But when I first step out of airport, it's confirmed hot. Yeah. The difference between Singapore and China, Shenzhen used to be a small fishing village as well, very similar to Singapore. And the time where they start to develop, start to grow is actually more or less the same also. If I read the history that actually Lee Kuan Yew have shared how Singapore developed, how Singapore can grow into such a big city, and share with the leader back then in Shenzhen, Deng Xiaoping. They have idea exchange. To me, I think Shenzhen and Singapore, they are like brothers who can learn from each other and can actually help each other. Okay, we're at Singapore River now, and we can see this statue here of Deng Xiaoping. Only from the day me and my friend, we went to NDP. Then we have a long queue from City Hall all the way to here. I found out this statue here. This statue actually reminds me of my early days in Shenzhen and see the development from early 20s of Shenzhen to the early days of Singapore, how they grow. So it was quite amazing that I can see someone to remind me of the old days. Yeah. The part I like about Singapore is Singapore's culture and history. During my own free time, I like to go explore museums, read into the stories, to explore Singapore's history. So what I saw from the National Gallery, the leaders in the past, how they built up Singapore and the Singapore spirit, the foreigners back then, how they came to Singapore, and then what's the reason they stay in Singapore. I could see the pictures at the past where the kampong is, and I've seen images with kampong and very high level buildings. And then from now, it's like everywhere is office buildings everywhere. Quite amazing to see Singapore from kampong all the way until now. For Singapore, it's more of a community society. Though Singapore is developing very fast, but there's still moments for people to stop and care for each other. One of the heartwarming scenes I've seen is during COVID lockdown period. Mask is in shortage. I saw this wheelchair elderly in FairPrice was doing grocery without a mask, and I saw an auntie offer a mask to this elderly and even put the mask on for her, even though they are strangers and even though everyone is short of mask. Yeah, and that's the moment that touches me. That story really inspires me. And then I bought masks from China, and then I donated some masks to the community after that, actually. When I first came to Singapore, it's actually for education because my father told me Singapore education is really top-notch in Asia. After a few years working in Singapore, I realized that working in Singapore gets me different exposure, which I can grow from there. So that's where I choose to stay in Singapore. Right now, actually, I'm working in a virtual production studio and I am the technician in the studio. This is usually where I work. We call this place a brain bar. So what I am doing here is that you can see that this is our company logo. And this is the Unreal asset that we usually use for shoot or events. There's a camera there. Once we pan the camera, the perspective will follow. That's where the directors or DOPs, they were able to capture the shot with the LED wall. Jiangxi food is quite spicy. In fact, in China, there's a meme, they rank the spiciness by different province, and Jiangxi is at the top 1 or 2. But for Singapore food, it's more close to Shenzhen or like Cantonese food, where it's, you can taste the food itself. So today I make this Jiangxi fried noodle. The traditional one, you can actually see a lot of chili here, and the whole thing is red with chili oil also. But I know that it will be a bit difficult for you all to swallow that, so I make a localized version. Instead of putting a lot of chili, I put a lot of garlic to bring up the flavor. I like to share my culture, where it has 5,000 years of history. So last time I teach kids Chinese culture, where we make the tangyuan, dumplings, eat mooncakes, do all this in the celebration day, like Mid-Autumn Festival, Dragon Boat Festival, and Chinese New Year. It makes me feel really, really accomplished when someone is interested in the culture, in participating in the activities. There's one time I invited my students to my house where we make the dumplings together. We even put coins. Of course, we've cleaned the coins, put inside the dumpling. See, whoever gets the dumpling will be the luckiest one. But I'm dealing with kids, so actually I can put $1 coin, 50 cents, and 10 cents. Yeah, so each of them get one. Yeah. So being in Singapore for so many years, this is actually my first time going to NDP, and I'm lucky enough to get the ticket. The feeling for this year NDP, right, I feel the spirit of togetherness with people of different stories. They can share their story, they can share their growth path, how they become a person they are now, and all these special stories from each individuals really build up the Singapore story and to make who we are. We need to understand others' culture because we are multiracial and multicultural, and then doing things like making dumplings, making lanterns for lantern festivals help us to understand the cultures, the thoughts. From there, we are able to build a more harmonious Singapore and as a nation. Majora Singapura. 亲爱的新加坡，我想感谢您给了我这么多美好的回忆。我和朋友们一起哭过、笑过。你见证了一个小男孩努力学习，为 O-Level 考试而抓狂，见证了他和朋友们喝酒、促膝长谈到深夜，见证了他一个个大大小小的成就，见证了他收到永久公民和大学录取通知书的欢呼雀跃。感谢你陪伴他度过这些年来的起起落落。这里有我度过的美好青春，同时我希望在未来能遇到更多的朋友，创造更多的友情，甚至是爱情和亲情，未来可期。致新加坡，我的第二故乡，严坤。